What's up, my core of knights? I am the legendary one, your local legend, the legendary Boogiieekknight, and today I am playing a game called Raging Loop, and here goes feedback. My God, the feedback is so bad. And I'm playing a game called Raging Loop. And Raging Loop is a work of fiction, as you can see, that is about a town up in the mountains where people die every night, come back resurrected the next morning, and die again the next night. So that's going to make it interesting. This is one of those still art games where it's a read along. You make decisions when the decisions pop up, and then I decide, I guess, how many times or when I'm gonna die or how I'm gonna die and all that other happy horse shit. So, as always, mature content. This is not too for children. Please, if you're a kid, don't tell your parents. And make sure all your stuff is set to 1080, and so you can get the best quality picture, as well as like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. And without further ado, it is time to boogie. Oh, porn music. It's wet out here. And I've been instantly demonetized. They all look guilty. That's right. What? Okay, let's look at these options really quick. System, sound, alright, text speed, fast, text, pre-read only. Yeah, pre-read only. Text box transparency. Hide buttons, or general vibrations, the initialization, forced unlock, activate. I don't know what any of that is. Alright. And let's see what we got here. Can't get any extras, and I guess read. Okay. Is this not in English? Rikako. Bow. Alright. I bid you welcome to the world of the visual novel Raging Loop. I am nobody special, honestly. Simply consider me part of the interface. You may refer to me as Rikako. You are most likely playing this game for the first time, and I am here to explain a few things about it. This work is quite strange, you see. It's recommended that the uninitiated take the time to read everything here. Okay. Those uploading their gameplay should at least read the 4 videos and sharing section. What? If you read until the end, you'll find sexy CG of me doesn't exist. We truly do live in a society of harsh society. How sad. You've never heard of Rule 34, obviously. Now, where should I begin? About video sharing? Okay. Raging Loop is a visual novel, meaning that the story events and conclusions are very important. Because of this, it would be very troubling if someone uploaded everything to the internet. I'd be sad, very sad. Then again, we do understand those who want to enjoy the work with many other people. Because of this, we have set guidelines for how far we should go. Okay. This range covers the whole first main route and a little extra. Specifically, you can only upload until the choice at 4 entering the village. Infiltration. I don't know why I cannot fucking say infiltration. Infiltration of the village. Is it because... Okay. Is it because the stuff is so gruesome, or just because they don't want you to be able to record that? That's a lot. Just so you know, I'm sure you'll have enough content for your uploads. I actually think it's a bit too much. Uploaders who read everything aloud might get a sore throat. Please don't overdo yourself, alright? Wow, it's almost like they knew I was going to upload this very horrific game. Also, if you intend to upload, please use the reminder function. What is the reminder function? If you have it set it on, when you reach the time to stop making a video, a strange sheet hops onto the screen and says end of the line. I'm confused. We would be grateful if you stop recording when you see him and try theorizing and arguing instead. What? This function is currently set to off. Reminder function. Do I set that? I guess I could set it. I guess I could set it for. I mean, like, how big is this sheep? I mean, is it like African bang the sheep big, or like is it like a small little like bun at the end of the, you know, at the corner of the screen? I guess I'll turn it on. Very well, we set it to on. If you wish to change it, please go to 0 introduction and come here again. Okay. How about the share function? Okay. In Raging Loop, the share function is available throughout the whole game. This is so that you will be free to make screenshots or record for yourself. Like Kako said, we would prefer it if you do not upload the entire work. Please do not go beyond the set location. Otherwise, please feel free to use the function reasonably and responsibly. Alright. Alright. So, okay, so what I'm alright, fuck it. I might as well go through all this. In addition to the special function, Raging Loop also has the basic function you'd expect any visual novel to have. You can hide the text window, see the backlog, load, and save. Skip retext, skip to the next choice, and so on. Saving and loading work as they normally do. There's an autosave function as well, but it only saves each time you enter a new chapter. So don't rely on it too much. Please save manually whenever it feels appropriate, whether you've read to a part that calls for it, or you're about to use the scenario chart. Okay. Next are the options. The options allow you to change the volume, text, display speed, as well as a few other things. However, explaining it all would make you very sleepy, so please either read the other instructions or listen to someone's extra explanations. I'm counting on you, certain someone. Is that the sheep that comes up there? Alright, that's not too bad. I mean, he's not like he got his head stuck in a gate and you had to like push him from the back to get through, if you know what I mean. He's just, I guess he's just big enough. You know what I'll use that for? I'll use it for anybody who wants to play this themselves, to just have it up there so they know for themselves where to stop, or, you know, like if they don't want to see certain things. So that's what I'll use that for. Alright, about special functions. Allow me to tell you about Raging Loop's special functions. Raging Loop's story branches out in ways so complicated it might be hard to follow. But there's no need to worry, for we have included a handy function called the scenario chart. You can access it anytime by simply opening the menu, giving you an overview of the scenario. And that's not all. Using the chart allows you to move any chapter you've already been to, anytime, anywhere. Now there's no need to save at every choice you come across. You can simply go back and choose again, so there's nothing to worry about. The scenario chart function will be explained again when you have to use it, so don't worry if you don't quite understand it. Alright, next up is keys. All branching and the story happens immediately. When you make a choice, none of them start taking effect further down the line. Alright? Whether some of the choices can only be unlocked when you have specific bits of information called keys. Then you might say that searching for these keys is one of the major goals in this game. Don't worry if you don't understand how to search for them, it will be explained when you have one. Additionally, keep in mind that all routes unlocked by acquisition of a key will be open even if you haven't saved after that fact. This also means that you can't load back to the state when you didn't have the key. Okay, so it like kind of auto saves when you get a key. This doesn't make any seem inaccessible, so it's not much of a problem, but it's something to keep in mind. For those commendable individuals who would like to play without any keys, again, please refer to data reset option. Use it wisely. Alright, I'm done talking to you, Sephiroth. Let's go. Shut up! That shit took a while. Thank you kindly for reading this far. Yeah. Just start. Yeah. Anyway, let's begin the story. So, from what I understand, these beyond this pockets of mist and haze of blood at the end of the ever-repeating despair and grief. Whoa, that turned a fucking turn quick. We were just talking about some goddamn keys a minute ago and how she was sad to see us, and then I was like, beyond the pockets of mist and haze of blood at the end of every repeating despair and grief, there is me. So yeah, so I'm gonna say this. From what I understand, this game gets really dark, and like I said, though it's a visual novel, because it's a visual novel, imagine reading a manga or a comic book with like horror scenes in it. So that's where we're going with this. So please come and witness the truth of the werewolf village with your own two eyes. Bow. 511, son. I'm a cowboy on a steel horse I ride. I close in on the side of the road and killed the engine. It was steeper than I thought. My bike was on the verge of giving out, so I pushed down and deployed the kickstand. Well, I'm lost. Maybe taking a ride down an unknown road with no sat-nav on me wasn't such a good idea. I just followed the road so I'd figure I wouldn't get lost, but now I was in some deep shit. No, cool it. This isn't a big deal. I sighed, took note of the fact that I'd gotten lost in my pocket journal, and then pulled out a map. Suddenly, a rush of memories flitted into my mind. Okay. So, this is one of the keys they were talking about, obviously, so I'm going to go for it. Oh, I don't have the key. Forget it. Okay, so already that's a junction right there. That's cool. I somehow kept myself from remembering those things. After all, I'd gone on this trip to forget. Forget what?
More.
Haruke Fasashi? Enough of that. I gotta focus on what's happening right now. Life is simple. Just this road. It's dark. And there aren't any guides, but that means all you gotta think about is whether you go forward or back. Going back wasn't an option in this case, so I just moved forward. Still, I wanted to know where I was, at least so I looked down at my map. It was all Greek to me. Last time I'd see a sign, it was still light, meaning that I'd gotten lost after the sun had set. Sure, it was my own fault for just guessing which intersection it'd been passing through, and that it'd taken me 2 hours to conclude I was lost. Jesus Christ, dude, alright. Bro, you just didn't want to go back. Crazy to think that just 2 hours of aimless driving got me almost completely surrounded by mountains. They extended as far as the eye could see. If you flipped the scenery upside down and shook it, it's unlikely even a shred of civilization would tumble out. Besides, the asphalt below my sweet ride and the lamppost above, the first one in a while, mind you, there was nothing man-made here. The pocket map I had wasn't detailed enough for me to figure out where I was. Guess I'll just keep driving. He went to go get the milk, and they never found him again. Not the milk! Not the milk! He was like, oh yeah, well, I came back, but then I remembered that I forgot the Newports too. Yeah. That's it, the Newports. It was all those damn Newports. 2 hours later, I deeply regretted ever thinking that. Basically, camping wasn't an option. The mountain road had no side or camp. A dump truck I'd passed barely even fit on it. I'd also had my first close encounter with wild forest animals. I'd already seen 2 bears and 3 deers in these 2 hours alone. One of the deer had to run parallel to my bike while instantly staring at me, and I had no idea what to think of that. I felt like I could smell my fear and did it to just make it worse. How dare the thing do that to a human? We're the kings of the planet, damn it. I'd have to remember to eat some venison once I got back home to civilization. That'll show that fucking deer. I'll go eat his cousin. And then you know what they'll tell? They'll tell Bambi and the rest of them. Daddy went out to go get the milk. He never came back. Anyway, Camping out here was a bad idea. I'd end up as either roadkill or animal food. And yet I didn't back out. Why? Because I'm a pretty warped sort of guy, and I won't pretend otherwise. That was actually the reason why my once comfortable relationship had gone awry, and why I'd gone on this stupid trip. So he ran from a girl, still despite acknowledging that I chose to keep moving forward. Like an unyielding tidal wave. Like two seals fighting over a fresh fish. Yeah, that was her ass. It wasn't like I'd found a place to stay if I went back. I was actually starting to think that this experience might make a good conversation piece sometime down the road. It was really getting late at this point. Where would these roads take me anyway? It'd probably be disappointing. Soon enough, the road became flat. I was out of the mountain pass. The forest remained abundant, though, so I still didn't see much. Even so, the streetlights and signs were enough to make me feel I was again nearing civilization. Oh, okay, why didn't you just go the fuck back where you came from? I mean, like, you realize you're lost, and you're like, oh, I'll just backtrack until I get to a gas station. That's what we used to do back in the day, you know, before all this stupid ass GPS. Turn left at the intersection, and you're like, and it's just like, turn left at the intersection. You're like, that's not a fucking intersection. There's no U-turn here. What the fuck are you looking at, you know? Were streetlights the right expression for lights in the forest? I'd have to look that up. Wait, lights in... Okay. As the road grew less rugged, I realized just how exhausted I was. All this bike handling had left my hands really sore, too. I really had to rest. Suddenly, I saw something unexpected. Powerful, colorful artificial lights. A convenience store. Fuck yeah. Even on the moon, there's a 7-Eleven. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was next to an intersection between the road I was on and another, even thinner road that could probably support only a single car. The sea of trees ended giving room for the majestic child of our... what? Consumerist society. I'd actually take a minute and actually... Yeah, that was an exaggeration, apparently. Even a damn store was a big deal for someone who just stepped out of the wild. It was called Fresh Mark. Fresh Mark. That's a fresh mark you got there. It seems like it would be like a gigolo's name. Yeah, I'm going past Fresh Mark. You want some Fresh Mark? Or something a guy would name his dick. Yeah, you want some of this Fresh Mark? Yeah. I'd seen several of them a few times during the day. It was probably a local franchise. The building didn't look all that old. At least the parking lot looked a lot smoother compared to the roads. This was a pretty weird place to build something like that, though. Was I close to a settlement, or did they actually make a profit off these lost travelers? I just asked that, or something. The local shopkeeper was bound to know what was around these parts. Not to mention it was thirsty. It was thirsty. I was thirsty. I was welcomed by a weird chime sound. It looked like a normal convenience store. There were goods on the shelves, a counter on the left, and a Rasta behind the counter. But them titties. Whoa. The worker at the counter was so mean looking. It was scary. She was imposing. I wouldn't have doubted if someone told me she was in charge of the same some ladies army corps. Eh. Was that supposed to be a greeting? It was so damn cold, it actually gave me chills. Was the store shadier than it appeared? Was I about to be stupidly overcharged? Was this how this place made a profit? By taking advantage of lost people and basically beating them out of their money. Bitch. Shit, that was scary. Clearly, the Wonderland had only just begun. Woohoo! I surely was excited for the beating. I grew more Wait, did it just become porn? I was excited for that beating. Beat that pussy. I mean, I grew more nervous and less enthusiastic by the second. I braced myself, but she just looked down at the magazine in her hands. Oh, so she was just a slacker. Slightly disappointed, I walked around the store. I was about... Oh, hear that music? That porn music. Uh-oh. Yeah. 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 Fuck my pussy. It was about what I expect. There was a small shop with energy drinks, followed by some stationaries, travel goods, sanitary stuff, etc. There were sweets that came with toys. I bet there was some toys in there. A shelf of cup ramen and dried food, a fridge, a freezer. It all looked normal. It was late, so the daily dish and packed lunch section was completely empty. The only special thing about this place was a section full of unpacked vegetables you'd expect to see at a grocer's. Maybe all rural convenience stores were like this. I was slightly surprised by that, but there weren't any local fine foods or anything. So all in all, it was an unremarkable store. If you ignored the clerk anyway. I took a drink and brought it to the register. She's smoking while working? What is this, the fucking 90s? Yep, she really was a highlight of the place. What kind of clerk smokes while dealing with customers? I hope, and I'm gonna say this now, I hope that she is the main bad guy of this whole thing. It's just like some disgruntled fucking 7-Eleven clerk that made like everybody in the village die. I hope that's what it is. It's like, yeah, working these fucking minimum wage jobs, I put a curse on you, ninjas. Yeah. Yep, she really was the highlight. Oh, yeah, I read that already. You're actually buying this trash? Yes, I was actually buying. She was the clerk, and I'd be her god, the customer. 126 yen. 126 yen. That's not very much. What did you buy? She didn't even scan it. The exchange was at the mercy of the clerk. God is dead. They had to get mad at her. Can I ask you something? Oh, God. Sorry. Earbuds is making my inner ear itch. Hold on a second. Oh. Can I ask you something? Huh? Yeah? Yeah? What aside? Yeah? I'm kind of lost right now. I quickly turned meek. Where can I find the nearest town? There. Don't you have a map or something? We don't. Man, this woman. I was about to marry her. I'm not sure I believe that. Convenience stores often get asked for directions. You must have a map handy. That's the rule. Well, we don't have one. Go back where you came from, asshole. I've been lost for a few hours now, bitch, and I don't think you can keep it up for much longer. I don't think I can keep it up for much longer. Sleep on the floor or something. She had to be fucking joking me, man. I appreciate the sentiment, but I'd rather be on my way. Are you sure you can't help? Alright, just wait. So obviously she's from Baltimore, because she sounds like every Burger King employee at that window. In Baltimore. The clerk put out her smoke in an ashtray and went to the staff-only area. She came back in no time.
あったわ。
Found it. So she did have a mat. Of course she did. Even more ill-tempered than usual, the clerk started giving me an expression.
これがこの店。で、十字路北へ行け。
This here is the store. Go to the north. Go to the north of the crossroads. Mm-hmm.
しばらくしたら立教があったら渡れ。 You'll
find an overpass soon enough. Cross it. Then you come to the fork next to a giant boulder. Turn right and head straight. Am I gonna have to remember that because I'm driving? Alright, so I go to an overpass and I'll cross it. So I'll cross the overpass. Then I'll come to a fork next at a giant boulder. Alright, so there's gonna be a giant boulder. Now turn right and head straight. On this road? What of it? There's nothing there. There's a settlement. It's just not on the map. Soka. Do you know any other places? There's Fujushi, but it's 2 hours through a mountain pass. This one's about 30 minutes away. Fujushi seems to be a village. It didn't look too far away, but the road leading to it was a huge, branching mess. It was clearly just a paved mountain pass. I had enough of those for one day. I'd probably just get lost again. I'll go to that one, then. Thank you. Money. Cash a coin, a mother... No. You didn't pay for the tea. Oh. 500 yen, so $5. She only wanted $1.26. Now she's got to get change. Oh shit. Ding. Rustle jingle. Why did you put the change in the collection box without asking me? Having too many coins is a pain, ain't it? You fucking robbed me. That was a hell of a line. I casually thanked her, grabbed the plastic bottle of tea. She didn't give me a bag, by the way, and I left the store. I drank the tea in the parking lot and looked up at the moon, obscured by clouds, but still bright enough to outshine the light of the convenience store. The clerk put me in a bad mood, though, so I didn't enjoy the sight. I threw the bottle into a nearby trash can and aggressively drove away. Following the directions, I crossed the overpass and arrived at the fork on the road. The byway she told me about was really narrow. I wouldn't have noticed it were it not for the tall boulder standing there in the rockside shrine for some traveler deity. Turning carefully, I got on the road. A minute later, I found myself in an even worse wilderness than before. A veil of dead leaves covered the ground, tall grass sided the path, and the sky above was blocked by overgrown shrubs, making it feel like I was passing a wooden tunnel. The road itself was a huge red flag. It was a wonder why I didn't just turn around. The exchange from before might have pissed me off more than I thought. Still, I really didn't expect the road to just end. What? It happened about 15 minutes in. The view ahead suddenly turned strangely dark, and a split second later, the bike tipped forward. I reflexively hit the brakes, but it was too late. I started going down a cliff. Oh shit! My bike tilted downward, and its suspension was put to the greatest test yet. As we basically tumbled down to the bottom, the headlights suddenly shone on some dirt and grass. I knew then that it would be flung out of my seat. I'd be flung out of my seat. Stifling a scream, I tried to work some steering and brake magic to slow down without collapsing. But that was too big a task for a road bike. At the bottom of the cliff, I jumped higher than ever before. The suspension couldn't handle the impact, and I was launched into the air. A moment later, I heard a crash and felt an impact, after which came an unpleasant pain. Damn it! An accident. Where was I flung out like that in the first for me? The launch was really something too. I did a 360 in the God damn. I did a 360 in the air and fell on my back. My breathing stopped for a moment, and then the pain was just so bad I thought all my bones shattered. My face and limbs seemed pretty fine, at least, though I wasn't sure if that counted as a silver lining. There was grass under my hands. I felt it even though the gloves I felt it under my hands. No. There was grass under my hands. I felt it even though the gloves that wait, that doesn't through the gloves. Okay. That and the smell of green made it pretty clear that what I had landed on. I pushed down and my hands sunk. The grass growth was pretty hefty. It was probably the reason why I came out relatively okay. Sure, my joints creaked and I stood up, but aside from that, I was fine. It was really dark, so I couldn't really confirm it, but I was pretty sure I wasn't even bleeding. My bike, however, wasn't nearly as lucky. Ah, boy. It was laying on its side, a short distance ahead. The engine was still on. The back wheel kept on spinning, making an unpleasant, fricative noise. Yup, it was busted. I walked up, killed the engine, and took the key. With the headlights off, I was surrounded by absolute darkness, so I just stood and waited until my eyes adjusted. I still see very clearly, but it looked like this actually wasn't a cliff. I was still on the road. It just wasn't paved beyond this point. Obviously, road bikes stood no chance against the unpaved road. That woman actually tried to kill me. Zigzagging through the trees, I followed the narrow footpath deeper into the forest. I tried getting my bike up and running again, but instantly gave up. I was partially stuck in mud, so there was the risk of it slipping and getting me into another accident. Maybe I had to turn around. The moment I considered that, I thought I saw a faint light ahead. If that woman was lying, this road led to a settlement. Was I close? I reached into my jacket's pocket, took out my phone, and opened it up. As you expect, I was out of range. I ran the light app and shone a light to see better. Though weak, it was better than nothing. At the very least, it helped me watch where I was going. I had no idea how long I'd been walking for, but sure enough, I could see a light beyond the shrubs. It was weaker than expected, a flashlight perhaps. I could hear water too. I might have been near a river. Hello? I raised my voice. Hello? Anyone there? Still declaring my presence, I walked forward. It was late at night. Were I to bump into someone here, the scare would probably take away a few years of my life. That was why I figured it was best for us both to let the other know we were here before that happened. However, there was a response. could they not hear me over the rapids? Hello? Hello? I shone my light ahead and realized I'd made it to an opening. Sure enough, there was a river, or a stream rather. I could see slightly more than I had while surrounded by trees. Straining my eyes, I saw a rocky river beach and the shallows. That looks kind of bright, doesn't it? The light I had seen on the other side, from what I could tell, it was either a lantern or a flashlight, and it was close to the ground. I didn't see any people, though. No one responded to my shouting either. I wasn't excited about it, but I decided to step into the water. The cold water quickly soaked my shoe and socks. I could have taken them off, but I figured that crossing a river barefoot at midnight was a bad idea. Well. But man, was it cold. I put my phone back to my jacket. I needed both my hands free in case I fell. No stopping or backing down, I walked toward the light. It suddenly became deeper, and the water reached my knees. Now that was too close for comfort. Feeling the bottom with my toes and balancing myself, I somehow avoided losing my footing. The flow was fiercer than I expected. If I slipped and fell, I'd probably be washed away. It suddenly hit me. I was doing something really weird, but it was too late to back down. Putting my hands on the boulders and carefully checking what I was stepping on, I gradually made it to the other side. Then, with an unpleasant wet sound, every step I walked up to the light. I could already see it clearly. Yep, it was a flashlight laying on the ground for some reason. There wasn't much space here. It was a narrow riverbank with a cliff right beside it. As you'd expect, it didn't see or sense anyone nearby. What the hell? Though the flashlight was working fine, the strength of the light told me the battery was pretty full. That moment that someone was actually using this tonight, or rather until just a few moments ago. That was the most logical conclusion. It obviously wasn't left here yesterday afternoon or evening. And yet the user was nowhere in sight, and I wasn't near a river. Did something bad happen? Did the flashlight's owner step into the stream and get swept away? That was the most likely and worst possible scenario. However, the flashlight was left there practically buried in the pebbles. It didn't seem like someone placed it there to light things up. It was the dead of night. There was no way you would notice dropping your flashlight. It was so dark. Right, the fact that the light source was left in a place like this was strange by itself. With that considered, what was going on here? What if someone heard my stupid shouting and decided to lure me in with a light so they could ambush me? Where would they attack from? Above? Hello? I heard a voice that moment. I looked up. The rock cliff was actually made of several boulders. There was a face peeking from behind one of them. Hello? Wow, a person, you surprised me. That was my line. Sorry, could you pick that up for me? The voice was feminine. I finally realized what was going on. So you dropped this. I picked up the flashlight and pointed it at the source of her voice. Ah! High-pitched voice, slender hands shielding the light. Sure enough, it was a young woman. It's so bright. Oh, sorry. This is me, by the way. That's creepy. Don't shine it up from below like that. I'm actually a bit lost. I think a bit is something of an understatement then. Yeah, thought as much. Is this a settlement? That's a difficult question. Can you help me out at least? Help? I just need a place to hide from the rain and the wild animals, that's all. Standing on a boulder, the young woman made a pensive face. Wanna come to my place? And that was the conclusion she'd arrived at. Her face told me she was 100% serious. I was about to get an STD. Place, my place, but that she surely meant a house, a settlement. Can I know I asked for help and all that, but I'm actually desperate enough to not hold myself back. Huh? As a man? Yeah, I mean, no. As a living being, I spent the last few hours aimlessly driving around, only to fall off my bike. I'm dead tired and at my wits' end here. Oh, dear. Then what kind of living being would I be if I just abandoned you? And so, I was saved. Oh, the beauty of living beings looking out for each other. Anyway, your hand, please. No. You can't climb up on your own, yeah? True. Honestly, I didn't even realize I'd have to. Meeting another person filled me with relief, which was followed by a sudden wave of fatigue. It wasn't crippling, though. She extended her left hand, so I grabbed it with my own left hand. Her slender fingers were stronger than expected. Yet, she had strong hands. Yeah, just throw some spit on that, you know. The girl's name was Chimi Surazawa. I asked if she was related to Shinsengumi guy. The Shinsengumi guy, but she said that her family just adopted the name at some point in the Meiji era. She was a 21-year-old, went to college far away from here. This was her hometown, and she was spending her post-exam vacation here. We chatted about stuff like that once she led me out of the rocky ravine. There was actually a proper path, so the rock climbing was pretty pointless, but I was too focused on my footing to comment. She told me about herself as soon as we reached solid ground. And what about you? I'm Haruki Fuishi. I'm a graduate student in Tokyo College. Ah, so you're a bit older. Well, I'm 24, so 3 years. I'd say we're in the same age range, though. Yeah, so don't you dare be formal with me. Alright. Then you can be casual with me, too. Can I? I like it when girls are friendly with me. Real friendly. Yeah, real friendly. Well, I know what you mean. I don't like stiff socializing either. Sure, I'll treat you like a friend. I wonder if I can cut off them talking because it kind of messes it up when I'm trying to speak. Would it have any other way? That aside, are we there yet? Not quite. We're like 5 minutes away. Hang in there, Chief. What a lovely girl. You could tell she was used to people. Also, watch your step and focus on just the light. Any reason? There are loads of pebbles here. It's dangerous. The moment she said that, I stumbled on a rock too big to be called a pebble. And it's pretty dark tonight. There's a fucking full moon, lady. I couldn't even see the moon anymore. Wait, The moon was just behind. Oh. Nodding in agreement, I focused on following the light in her hand. I gotta change. I gotta change. Wait here for a second. And so I did just that. Given this was a mountain settlement, I expected some old wooden house, but actually, she lived in an apartment block. It was too dark to get a good look at it. All I could see were cheap-looking walls, like you'd expect from some old boarding house for students. Also, she lived on the second floor in room 202. I heard some raindrops as we were climbing the rusty stairs, but now it was really pouring. Between that, the darkness, and a large tree right next to the building, it was nearly impossible to see what was going on outside. I felt like I felt like I was all alone in the world, nothing but the walls, the door, and the fluorescent lamp above my head. It made me feel somewhat hopeless. I distracted myself from that by imagining her changing. You dog. Eventually, the door opened up. Sorry about the wait. You can come in now. All smiles, she showed herself now wearing sports clothes. This was kind of exciting. Dude, sports clothes just excited you? Look at this place. It's completely empty, huh? Yep. But get a load of what's in the fridge. Magnificent. Let's drink. Hell yeah. Get this bit. I mean, yeah, let's drink. I'm not gonna do anything to you. There goes that porn music. Yeah. Stroking it out. Take that beat for a walk. Yeah, her place was really empty. It was just a small room with a low table in the middle, a fridge near the door, and a large duffel bag deeper in. There were two old-looking bookshelves too, but they were completely empty. I wasn't bothered one bit, though any girl's room was a wonderland to me. Anyway, you went through some big trouble, so I'll drink to you. And I'll drink to you for helping me out. You're a real saint. We opened up cans, knocked them together, and downed them. Hey, it was actually good. The pleasant bitterness and the refreshing carbonation made for a good combo. So good. I live for this. Come on, you're too young to say that. Yeah, you're right. I'm not despairing for my future or love life yet. You hear that? That's the sound of a job. That's the sound of job hunting. It's a common here fast. No, don't say that. You'll ruin my beer. She laughed and took a huge sip. It was pretty clear she could hold her drink. That aside, something really bothered me. This might be a bit late for this, but can I ask you something? Go ahead. Well, she didn't say go ahead. She said what? But yeah, go ahead. Her cheeks were already red. Maybe she didn't handle her liquor as well as I thought. She had a well-featured face, and I didn't think it was wrong to consider her beautiful. Sure, her clothes weren't the least bit sexy, but I could tell she had some makeup on. To you, I'm just some stranger who says he's lost, right? Yep. She says that so. And you yourself are a young woman who invited that stranger into an enclosed space and started getting drunk. Oh. Don't you think this is dangerous? She kept gulping the drink. I bet she did. She kept gulping. She kept gulping the drink even as she formulated a response. The very fact that I could just watch her do that made this pretty risky situation, and yet
あんまりない
I
かな
wouldn't say so.
それは
But
芹沢知恵みくい
time for a Chimi Shirazawa quiz.
イエーイ
Yay.
問題
Here's the question. My virginity is threatened, yet I don't feel like I'm in a danger. Why?
なぜでしょう
What a fun girl. This only made me like her more, increasing the danger even further.
質問 OK?
Am I allowed to ask questions?
どうぞ
Sure. Dozo.
僕のことがいい人っぽいという答えは
Can I just
なしでいいかな
assume that it's not because I look like a good guy?
悪い人に見える
Well,
って
I
わ
don't
けじゃ
think you
ない
look
よ
like a bad
まあ
guy.
なしかな
But no, I doubt you're good either. You look experienced with women for one. That unintentional compliment showed that she actually did see me as a potential danger.
考えられる回答
There
は
are two
大きく
types of
二つ
answers to this. Either you expect nothing bad to happen, but wouldn't have bothered if it did, or you actually want something to happen.
前者は
I could think of several situations for the former. For example, you're actually on the edge and don't care about what
あるい
happens.
は
Or maybe you're just confident
実はご
you can defend yourself. Maybe you know martial arts or can easily kick my ass.
おー論理的春秋さん
Soka,
知恵だね
Well, so logical. Let me guess, you're a scientist.
と
Well, I guess you could say that. Now for the latter, if you intend for something to happen, then
例えば
I'm thirsty.
私がエロエロですと
I'm
か
a thirsty perv or something? Wow. Talk about not mincing words.
酔っ払ってきたな
I blame the booze, so what else is there?
他には何があるでしょ
Indeed, what other reason could a woman have to bring a stranger to her home? It would surely be something non-standard like.
僕の存在が
You want to use me somehow.
例えば
For example, setting me up as an alibi. I could be useful to you by assisting that you were here.
お
Oh,
ーちゃっかり利用するわけだ
that's so shrewd.
あるいは
Or maybe you're a serial killer who brought me here just to get me drunk and kill me.
ヤ
Oh,
マンバいいね
so I'm some evil mountain witch now. Sounds great. I'll kill you real good. Splosh, splosh. What kind of sound effect was that?
ちなみに
By the
前
way,
提で出た二つの
you forgot another
あ
case.
れ
I
抜
did.
けて
うん
Yep.
私がとってもいい人で春秋さんを
I could be just a really good person who simply wants to help you. Was it time for me to be ashamed of my filthy mind?
いやでも
But
それで
wait,
自分が襲われる
is that
と
really
思って考え
important
たら
enough to risk being assaulted?
おーそうって言っちゃったよこの人
So you're thinking of assaulting me?
あ
I'm just talking in general.
ー一般
You
の
know, the cliche scenario. She stopped talking and turned red. It was so cute. I thought she was actually doing it on purpose. Man, was she drunk? And we were just on the second cans.
じゃあこういうの
Then how about this? If I don't let you stay here, something even worse would happen and I'd feel real bad.
ごめん
Care to elaborate?
この辺りには怖い
There's some scary wild animals out there around. Oh, there's some scary wild animals around here. You might have gotten torn up and eaten.
このまま見捨てたらとてもネザ
That'd have left a bad taste in my mouth, and so I figured I'd just let you stay instead.
なるほど
Oh, I see. So you're balancing risk and goodwill.
これは想
Didn't
定外
expect that.
想定外か
Really? Now?
この人だいぶ
You got any idea how much of a bad guy you seem now?
えそう
I do.
だって善意を選択肢に入れる前に殺人鬼とかアリバイとかエロエロと
I
か
mean,
さ
you assumed I was thirsty perv, a serial killer, or needed an alibi before considering I was just a nice person.
ヘロエロは君が言い出したんでしょうが
You're the one who brought up the perv thing.
そうだったっけ
Details, details. So what's the right answer?
これって
Huh.
単なるバカ話じゃないの
We're not just messing around.
正解者には素敵なプレ
Get
ゼン
it
ト
right, and I'll
正解者はブッ
get
シ
it
ュブッ
right,
シ
and I'm
ュ殺し
giving you
ます
a nice present. Get it wrong, and you're dead. Splosh, splosh. Seriously. What I want to say is she's a thirsty perv. You'd feel guilty if you let me die.
ピンポーン正
Ding
解です
ding. You're right. Haha! Oh, cool.
まあ実際この辺危ないしね
Well, I wasn't joking when I said this area is dangerous. There's deer, bears, wild dogs, and bears. Boars, wild dogs, and bears.
鹿とイノシシは実際見たけど
I actually saw deer
馬
and
もいるの
boars myself, but bears?
うん好き
Yep.
だけどね
Moon bears. Though they aren't big, but they do attack. It's pretty dangerous out there.
なんてワイルドな
That's just wild.
でも本当に
But
やばい
there's something even worse.
なんだろう
What?
熊より
Worse
や
than
ばい
bears.
ヘビ猿
Snakes, monkeys, cows, spiders. I said cows, crows. Cows are dangerous, right? Huh. Were they venomous or were they venomous or something? I really doubted that. Were they venomous? Those really didn't seem worse than
あ
bears.
とそうかな
Also, wolves.
日本には狼
There
は
are
い
any
ない
wolves
で
in
しょ
Japan.
いるかもよ
Yeah,
こ
there
の
are.
中には
You're in sticks, you know. She smiled and drank out of the third can.
まあ理由がどうあれ
Speaking of wolves, whatever the reason you ended up coming into a pretty girl's home, won't you become a wolf yourself?
やめと
No.
紳士
What a gentleman. Have another one. I wasn't too serious, but I felt like she dodged the subject. Perhaps I wasn't being cautious enough. But then again, I'd been wandering aimlessly for a long time by now. I had enough recklessness in me to enjoy sharing a drink with a cute if shady girl. I was about to say, shouldn't have been a cutie? I think that's what it was trying to say. Alright, so this is the next day. Autosave. Alright, so just autosave. So I think I'm gonna leave it here, and next Monday we'll probably get to it. We'll start a little earlier next Monday, so we can get to the killing. So with that being said, everybody take care of themselves. Good night. Please watch out for yourselves. To my boys in blue out there, please take care of yourselves and your friends and family. To my veterans out there, as always, if things are getting rough and you need someone to talk to, calling your friends, calling your family, you know what I'm talking about. Please, we need our veterans out there. And with that being said, good night, good luck, God bless, and remember to always stay legendary.